Hey everybody, Dan Cleaver here one last time to talk to you about the internal environment for American campus communities. We've already discussed that American Campus Communities is a real estate investment trust that specializes in student housing on campuses across the nation. But I want to talk a little bit in more detail about what they do from an internal perspective. So, ACC operates in four main business segments. So, they operate in wholly owned properties, on campus participating properties, developmental services, and property management services. It is worth noting that the wholly owned properties um, that is over 90% of what ACC does, and the rest, less than 10%, is kind of scattered throughout the other three market segments. Differentiation is definitely the name of the game when it comes to American campus communities. With the new entrants to the market, as well as the increased competition from on campus offerings, ACC has no other option than to try to set themselves apart from the other offerings and make them the premier provider of off campus housing for students in campus communities. Um, some of the strengths that ACC has have to do with their use of technology, mainly software technology. ACC uses a program called BOSS, BOSS, and it stands for Basic Operating Standards and Systems. And what this does is it allows ACC to standardize operations between the many properties that they do operate in. Basically, it's a checklist, both weekly, daily, monthly, um, to ensure that operations in communities in Florida is identical to the operations of communities in Arizona and their other markets. ACC also is very big on promoting from within. So there are plenty of success stories that we found in our research that led us to believe that many of the upper level management actually started in lower level positions in the company and worked their way up to more executive level positions in ACC. So one of the other software programs that ACC uses is a program called LAMS, LAMS, and it stands for Leasing and Marketing Systems. And basically, it both manually and automatically prompts facility staff to produce 27 pieces of follow-up after a guest card is generated. And basically, this amount of follow-up is unheard of in the industry, and definitely sets ACC apart from its competitors. While ACC does have a lot of great strengths, there are some weaknesses that we identified in our research. And some of the weaknesses that we identified are the fact that ACC has really been unable to create a sustained competitive advantage. And it's difficult with the new entrants to the market, as well as the increased popularity of on-campus offerings. They're really having to go the extra mile to set themselves apart to create that sustained competitive advantage. Um, it's tough, especially in this particular industry, to maintain a competitive advantage. But I think that there are some opportunities that ACC could capitalize on that would allow them to do so. One of the other things that we identified in our research is that the lease term lengths is something that ACC may consider changing in order to create that competitive advantage, not only for cash flow for internal processes, but also for ease of use for students. Um, I don't know what proportion of this class has participated in leasing through on campus or off campus offerings, but really you're looking at basically leases that are totally related to the school year, 9-month leases, and it would to me, it's a weakness because if you offered something, if you offered a lease that was longer and carried you through multiple semesters, it would be not only more beneficial to the person leasing the apartment, but it would also benefit from a cash flow perspective, ACC. And then lastly, lack of diversification. This was one thing that was really troublesome for me because I feel like because ACC only operates in student housing, that it would only be the obvious next step to move into a different market segment that was very similar to on-campus offerings. And I mentioned earlier that diversification could be partnering with companies like large companies like Disney to house interns or temporary workers. I think that if ACC was able to capitalize on something like this, they would set themselves up for great success. That's it for internal, and I'm going to turn it over to my teammates for key issues. Thank you.